Hey guys, how you doing? It's Kevtech here bringing another video on information technology. I hope you're having a good day. Happy Saturday. And today we're going to do some free help desk training. I'm going to cover some Active Directory, some Office 365, some Intune, a little bit of everything. So if anyone that's brand new, you're going to enjoy this because you probably don't know any of this stuff. For someone that has watched my videos, you probably know this stuff already. It's probably a refresher for you. Obviously, if you make sure to know what to do, rate, comment, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. Really appreciate it. All right. So let me share my screen. Screen 3. And I have server 2019 open already. As you can see here, it's on. So someone that has experience in IT, obviously, we're not going to give you access to the whole server, but all you care about is Active Directory, which is right here. Active Directory uses the computers, right? And for someone who has experience, usually when they give you Active Directory on your computer, on your laptop, we call it RSET tools. So what we do is if you go to here, it's not going to be here, but I made a video on this. So if you go to control panel and if you do uninstall programs and you do turn Windows features on and off, they have Active Directory light services right here. So it's not going to be here. But what you could do is if you go to the website and you do RSET tools for Windows 10 and download, you could download RSET tools. You could go in here and download it, and you hit download, you would download the 64 version of it, which is x.64. And then when you have access to that, you should have access to this Active Directory using computers. That's part of RSET tools. So if you go on a job interview and they ask you, and I've gone over this before, and I'll stop sharing for a quick second. If you go on a job interview, they ask you, like, how do you get access to Active Directory? You would say, I would download RSET tools on my local Windows 10, Windows 11 machine. That's how I get access to Active Directory. If I get access to it, because, obviously every company is different. So you may have access to AD. You may not have access to AD. Every company is different, but just to show you that Active Directory is there and it's available to download if you have a virtual machine set up, if that makes sense. So I'll share my screen again. And this is the common stuff you'll encounter in a work environment. Number one will be creating a new user account. So if we go here, we go to Jira, right? And I log into Jira and I sign in real quick. I'm gonna try to sign in. It should let me in. I know I have an account here. And we're gonna go to let's just do like for fun. Like it says new hire starting. I'm gonna put Oliver Queen. And I'm gonna put name here, and then department. It's gonna be finance, and then manager. It's gonna be let's just put Dago, and then we're gonna put access, share drive access. Yes. And then that's it. And then we're gonna do is urgency. We're gonna put it as medium, and we're gonna select create. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the issue. It's just assigned to me. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get started on this ticket. So we have a new hire named Oliver Queen. Manager is legal, department is finance, right? So we're gonna go right here. We're gonna right click here. We're gonna go to new. We're gonna go to new user. And then we're gonna put Oliver. And then we're gonna put Queen. And I'm gonna, as a username, let's just put Oliver as a username. We're not gonna log in today with this account, but just to show you how to create a user account. And then they must change the password next login, which means when he logs in for the first time, he has to change his password and next and finish. All right, we're done now. So that user should be around here somewhere. I think he's here. So I'm gonna drag him and put him on users. Is it gonna complain about it? We're not complaining. It's gonna say, are you sure you want to put him over here in this OU and put yes? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit on Oliver Queen, double click on him. We're gonna go to organization, and we're gonna put that he reports under Diggle. So we're gonna change this to company. We're gonna put a job title. It doesn't have a job title. We just put a director for this one, and then the department is finance. Apply, and I'm gonna create another user account, and I'm gonna call him Diggle. If you guys watch any Green Arrow shows, you know what this is, right? You know what I'm doing here. So, and I'm gonna go back to Oliver Queen. I'm gonna put change, and I'm gonna put Diggle in here, reports to Diggle, and apply. Okay. So that's how you create a user account. So if you go to a work environment, you'll be asked to create a user account. And they want access to a folder. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a folder specific to him. So I'm gonna go back to Active Directory. I'm gonna go back to Server Manager, excuse me. And I'm gonna go to all servers, ADDS, DNS, file storage. I'm gonna go to file storage. And I'm gonna go to shares. And I'm gonna right click on shares and create a new share drive. And we're gonna do quick. I'm gonna hit next. And I'm gonna call it personal. So it's like a personal share drive. Next. And I'm gonna customize the permissions and you see view this one. I'm gonna remove that one. And I'm gonna remove this one. I'm gonna remove this one. So I'm only gonna give the administrator access to that. I'm gonna hit OK, apply, next, and then I'm gonna create this folder. And then what I'm gonna do is, and I apologize, I'm going too fast. So I'm gonna slow down a little bit because I'm drinking. I had too much coffee today. So I created the account or the folder. Sorry, the folder under Server Manager. So I went to File, Storage, and Services and Shares, and just right click and made a brand new folder. And what I want to do is I want to give Oliver Queen access to that folder. So I'm going to File Explorer. I'm going to this PC. I'm going to local disk. I'm actually going to right click and inject this because we don't need that anymore. And we're going to go under shares. I'm going to right click personal. Actually, I'm gonna go in here and make a brand new folder called Oliver. All right. And I'm gonna give him access to that. So we're gonna go personal, Oliver. Oliver's folder is here. It's already set up. We're gonna turn event sharing on, apply, okay. And I'm gonna manually add Oliver to it. And I'm gonna hit apply. And I'm gonna give him modified on this folder. And I'm gonna put Oliver in here and I'm gonna put read and write. And then the only one that has access to this folder would be Oliver, and that's it. And then what I want to do is I want to right click and do properties, and I want to get this file path, and I'm going to add it on Active Directory by going into Oliver Queen. And I have all these accounts open. So what I want to do is I want to create a path directory, and it's going to be the letter P for personal. And then they can log into this, and the path drive will map automatically for him, and hit OK, and that's it. So this ticket is completed. This ticket is done. I could close this ticket. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set to pending first. And then working on this now for customer. And then I'm gonna close the ticket. This is the workflow of the ticket. I'll create it, folder mapped. This is done. All right. So yeah, so that's it. This is done. The ticket is done. So this is how you would do like a new hire account. Obviously, you're not gonna have that. Like I have a lot of access. Obviously, my access is different, but like every company is different. But I just created an account just now. I mapped the folder. I did everything for him. And you can go further into this. Like if I go and right click here and break a brand new security group, I could add that security group to that folder if I wanted to. But I'll stop sharing for a second. And now we're gonna go back to Office 365 and do some Office 365 training. So I'm gonna shut down this VM. And I'm gonna log into Office 365. And I'm gonna share my screen again. And now what we're gonna do is we went to office.com, right? And I'm gonna go to admin and I'm gonna go to active users. And I'm gonna make a brand new user called Oliver Queen. And it should be available because there's no other email address associated with that. I'm gonna have it create a brand new password. And I have a license I could give him. So I'm gonna assign him a license. And it says, do I want to give him a department title? So he's obviously a director. Obviously, he works in finance. And I'm gonna leave all this other stuff blank. And then finish adding. And he should be able to log in right now. So if I go and open this in incognito mode, and I go to office.com, and I do sign in. At least, okay, so I need a strong password. Try this password. There we go. All right, so now it requires me to use Authenticator. So I'm gonna do next. When you have a brand new account, it requires Authenticator. Um, next, next. And I'm gonna pretend like I'm the end user or I'm the customer. I have Authenticator on my phone already, so I'm just gonna download it and run it just to show you how that works. Um, I'm gonna do the plus sign and I'm gonna add this account on my phone. Um, give me a second. App is going crazy. So I'm gonna scan it. I'm gonna scan the QR code. It's activating on my phone now. And it's been added successfully. You can see now I have Oliver on my phone. I'm gonna hit next. And it's asking me for a prompt 99. Yes, that's me. Make sure let me in. I just approved it. Done. And I should be all set. Yes. So you saw how I logged in just now. I assigned a license to Oliver. He has a license. If you're gonna get calls about this, like you have a brand new hire, like a brand new hire, they call you. You have to go on here, set up their account. I created the account. And I could go in here and check. Like I just created that account, right? You see it's like Oliver's not there. Just refresh it and you should show up now. Right? So he's there. And it should show that he's signed in at least. So let's see devices. View last signed in. Sign in activity. And all this stuff you need to know how to do because like they'll ask you about this information. Like if you go into HR, maybe if you do cybersecurity, you want to get more information about the customer or the end user or the person logged in. It says they haven't signed in attempts yet, but you want to get more information about the end user, right? So last name Queen Oliver. This is Microsoft activation. They haven't activated anything yet. They haven't signed into any apps yet, right? I could sign them out of sessions, like they're signed in right now. I could sign them in out of the session. I could reset the password. Then if you want to he hasn't opened the mailbox yet. But if you want, what you could do is You could download Office 365. So like if you have someone like Oliver Queen, he has a license, I did give him a license. You can just go to Office 365 or office.com, and then when they log in on the right hand, they should have a license here. If they don't have a license, it's or the app, this tab is not showing up, it's because no license is assigned to them. So you want to keep that in mind when you're setting up a new hire. I have a business premium license, which is available for him, right? And when you select that, it gives them all these different licenses, right? So this is what he'll have access to. So have access to Office 365, Defender for Business, Defender, Intra ID, P1, P Plan E1, Intune Plan 1, Teams, has access to Teams, Phone Core, Phone, Sway, all this stuff is what the license gives them access to. So just keep that in mind when assigning licenses. Obviously, it costs money. So when you're assigning licenses, you want to keep that in mind. So he can download the app right here. So if you click on that, I already have Office 365 installed on this computer, but if you want to install it, you just click install Office and then you should be good after that. And if you want to view his license or subscription, you go to the right hand side and it tells you all the licenses that he has. And then say, for example, HR calls you and HR is like, yeah, that Oliver guy, I don't want him working for us anymore. Get rid of the license. You just unassign the license, hit save changes. And then what you could do is you could sign him out of all devices and then you could block that user account. Block this user account and then save changes. And they can't log in anymore. So now it's blocked. It should be red on the top and you're good to go after that. And obviously you can also delete the user. That's a little bit extreme to delete the user because a lot of companies have retention policies, which that means is that you work with HR and HR has a certain amount of time that they keep a user account. So they may have you sign back in again or unblock sign in. And the HR person may go in here and be, oh, can you give me access to their mailbox? Right. So you may have to give them access to a mailbox or something like that. So you may go in here and open up Exchange, right? There's Exchange Admin Center. And you may go to here and you may go to user accounts. And his mailbox is not showing up because I disabled the account, but you may give HR access to that mailbox, right? Or you may delete the account after 90 days, right? Every company is different. Some companies don't delete the accounts at all. They just disable it and that's it, right? Some companies delete it. It really depends where you work. So now that I went over Office 365, I do want to go over Dual a little bit and show you how that works. So what we're going to do is we're going to close out everything and we're going to start from scratch with nothing open at all. And we're going to go to Dual and I'm going to log in real quick with my email address. And I should get a text message on my phone to verify that it's me. Which I'm doing right now. So all this stuff that I'm sharing, you should know how to do this. Like if you're gonna create a brand new user, add a user, like this is something that you need to know. Like I'm gonna make a brand new user. And you have to know how to set up a brand new user from scratch. Right. So you guys have my email address already. So I'm gonna add Kevin at itsupport.com. I'm gonna set as active. I'm gonna enable automation group, blah blah blah. I'm gonna save changes. And I'm gonna send an enrollment email. And I'm gonna open up my Outlook email and I should get an enrollment email literally right now with Dual. So I have Dual open right here, or actually my Outlook email open right here, and I should get an email shortly. Just gotta have patience with this thing because it takes a while. Just give that a second. So that is my email address. I think you guys already know my email address. So I just got the Dual email address, which is right here. So I am gonna click on it. And I'm gonna start setup. mobile device. Let me see what else they have. They have security key, security key. How does I click on this one? I do have that. Let me see. Let me see what happens if I plug this in. I have something here. I do have a security key here. I don't know if it's gonna work with this. Let me double check my computer. It may not work with my computer. We shall see. I've never done it this way before. I'm plugging in right now. You guys could see me. It says touch your security key. And I just put my finger on it. It says just add a device and finish enrollment. It looks like it's activated. Perfect. All right, great, cool. So let me get out of this. Let me refresh my device. No phones added. But my email, yeah, I am from Brooklyn, so this looks right. Yeah, it's enrolled. I have a token now. Look at that. Woohoo! That's awesome. So yeah, so you may need to know how to set up tokens. Like this is what I did, or this is what I have in one of my work environments. I'll stop sharing for a second. So yeah, so you may have to set up like an enrollment, like mine is that enrollment. Like I set up like with a YubiKey. You just saw me. I just plugged it in the back of my computer. That's the only spot that it goes. There's nothing in the front. So I just plugged it in and put my finger thumb on it, and I'm able to log in successfully after that. So, if I do, I don't have a password. But what I could do is, so my account is set up. My account is set up. So I could log into Duo as an admin. Let me just go back. Now I could go to users. And we're gonna go back to that user that one I just created. I just want to show you some stuff you could do. So yeah, so Kev partner, he doesn't have a phone. I could add one if I want to. So I hit add one. I could put a number in here, which I'm not gonna do that, but I could add a number and hit add phone. But what you could do is, say for example, Kevin 22 is having a hard time logging in. What you could do is, you have the option, and I'll show you. You have the option of giving him a bypass code, like hit add bypass code, generate bypass code, and then you give him bypass code. So you jump at bypass code, and then this code is valid. This code is valid for today. One remainder user. What you could do is if you delete the bypass code, and if you go back to bypass code and hit add bypass code, change options, and it's 60 minutes. You could put set to never. And you can set unlimited, and you can put unlimited amount of time and generate a bypass code for the end user. So sometimes you need to do this if the user is working with VPN, or user cannot log in because their Wi-Fi sucks, or they can't log in because they're on a plane. You could give them a temporary bypass code, and they could connect to their VPN or Cisco AnyConnect after that. So I had to do that in a work environment. Now, if they don't have a mobile device, or you can't give them a bypass code for some weird reason, what you could do is you could add a secondary device here. So what I could do is I do add a phone. So I could add a phone here, and then I could send out a push from my phone on behalf of the end user, if that makes sense. So there are several ways of doing it. This is stuff that you need to know if you're trying to get into IT and if you're trying to do help desk. So I'll stop sharing again. So you should know about Active Directory. You should know about MFA, which is multi-factor authentication. I'm using Duo right now. And you should know about Office 365. And I'll show you Intune a little bit. I'm not gonna go crazy with Intune, but I'll show you like what stuff you need to know about Intune. So if we go to Intune.microsoft.com, I'll share my screen again. share screen, and then here's the dashboard. So for Intune, you could create policies if you want. So what we could do is we could set up enrollment, and then you could auto enroll a device. So if you know how to set up Intune, and I'm working on a course for this, so don't worry about this. But you could set up auto enrollment, and you could set up a computer from scratch when they log in. But they have to have a certain license to log in order for the device to enroll automatically. And what you could do here as well is you could provide applications for end users. So what I could do is I go to Windows, and I could add an application in here, and then I could do Microsoft Store and hit select, and then search for Microsoft Store. And you can go crazy with this. Like if I go Office here and I type Office here, I could give him or her Office 365, and then select, and then hit next, and then hit all users, and then all users will now have Office 365, right? So you could set that up and create a policy on that. That's entirely up to you. And then you could assign that to people in your company or work environment. And then you have iOS as well in here. And then what you could do is you could add an application in here. You go to iOS Store app and hit select and search the App Store. And then you could put, like, for example, like you could put like Smart Sheet, and you could put Smart Sheet here and select, and you could assign Smart Sheet to those devices, to those iOS, iPad OS devices, right? And then you could put add all devices, add all users, and then just give them access to that and then create, right? That's entirely up to you how you do it. Every company is different. What some companies do is, and they'll stop sharing, they'll use Intune, and they'll combine it with like a patch management tool like Manage Engine or Ninja One, some sort of software deployment tool or SSEM, depending on the work environment, and they put them together with Intune. That way they have patch management, and they have the ability to control a device from the back end. So like if for example, like if I set up Intune on a device, and I'll share my screen one last time to show you what I'm talking about. You're like, what is he talking about? So if I go to intune.microsoft.com and I go to devices, and I go to I'll go to my device, and I'll share my screen again. Like if you have Intune set up correctly, so all you do is you go to the store, right? And what you could do is you could do a company portal, and you go in here, and then you could enroll potentially you could enroll a device to company portal, and then that device is controlled and managed by your administrator. See, it's like team administrator did not make any apps available for you, but basically you could control the apps here, right? So um that's something that you may want to look at, but that's something that we control. And in here, once you control that device, what you could do is you do a quick scan, you do autopilot reset, you do a full scan. You could do bit lock or key rotation. If that's what you want to do, you can do that. So this device will remove all keys on this device. Single key will be yes, crawl to the identity, and after you restart the machine, multiple recoveries exist. All keys will automatically delete and rotate keys anyway. So you can retire the device, you could wipe the device, and you could delete the device. Then you could sync it. You could remove remote lock, which is I did bit lock with key rotation. You could remote lock it as well and reset passcode, restart it, etc., etc. So once you set up, and I'll stop sharing. Once you set up Intune and you install it and you set up company portal and you set all that good stuff up on the machine, you're able to manually control it with patch management, and also remote wipe or remote lock that machine as well. So those things you need to know if you're doing Intune or if you have Intune experience. And obviously there's intra, there's also privilege lease management. It's entirely up to you and what you're doing, your organization. Every company is different, but for the most part, you should know how to do this stuff because you will probably have access to this if you work Helpdesk or IT support, like tier 2 or more as a system admin. You should know how to do this stuff. But that's it for me. I don't want to make this video super long, but hopefully this helps you out. So I covered Active Directory, some ticketing, like one ticketing system, Office 365, dual, MFA, Intune a little bit, and remote wipe. All right, that's it for me. With that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And hopefully this is a good help desk training video for you guys. All right, I'll see you guys later. Take care. Bye.